Well, welcome everybody to the very last session of the 2022 Create Virginia. My name is Stephanie Keener. I'm the executive director for the organization that produced this year's event, the Small Business Development Center for the Lynchburg region. We at the SBDC are a part of the 29 SBDCs that are networked across the Commonwealth of Virginia. The SBDC is a program that is a cooperative agreement between the United States Small Business Administration, George Mason University, and premier institutions across Virginia. We do this in cooperation with the Academy Center of the Arts in downtown Lynchburg and the Office of Economic Development and Tourism for the City of Lynchburg and the Lynchburg Regional Business Alliance. Jawanza, what are we doing for our very last event?
Thanks so much, Stephanie. My name is Jawanza Hall. I am the branding and marketing advisor at the SBDC. And for this final episode, we have the pleasure of having Phiness and Ametaphor, who are two magnificent creators within the metaverse. Both have sold and also traded in the metaverse, and are here today to give us some information about that. So, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. We've covered everything this season, from podcasting to TikTok to mental health, and now we're closing out with music.
It's amazing. I can't wait to hear this. This is a great follow-up to our keynote last year, which was about NFTs. And it was kind of a new thing then, and now we're kind of settling into it. So we'll turn it over.
All right.
Hey, y'all, what's good? Thanks, Jawanza. And I'm a little nervous for some reason. It's weird. We've been doing a lot of Twitter spaces and stuff, and then it's crazy now we're doing it live, talking about the things that we've been passionate about now. So I want to introduce myself. My name is Phineas Robert. I go by Phiness. I'm a musician, composer. I do a lot of music for NFTs, specifically in 3D audio, which is immersive sound. And I work with Blackwater Burning as the director of sound. And I've here.
Hi, my name is Shauna Munson, and my artist alias is Ametaphor. I'm a singer, music producer, and illustrator. And also a musician in the Web3 and NFT space. And I'm so honored to be here with Create Virginia today.
Yeah, this is special because we're going to share that later. The Web3 technology, the space with NFTs and cryptos, it really shifted our lives. It changed the way how we do business, because as a business entrepreneur myself, working with Blackwater Branding and also working with TV and film, I saw a lot more opportunities in Web3 that I didn't see 2-3 years ago. It literally just changed our lives in that aspect, because something that we did about a couple of years ago in Lynchburg, we did like a seminar. And one thing I really emphasized was that if you're a creator and you're an artist, you're not just a creator and artist. You are branding your business. And one of the things we want to discuss within the Web3 space is you are not just an artist, you're a business and you're a brand. And as a business and brand, you have to find ways to monetize and create capital so you can stay in business. So before we get into the Web3, terms and everything like that, I want to let you guys know, like, there's a certain amount of income that you can make as a business. So there's about 8, and we have 8 streams of income. So the first streams of income, you have earned income. That's what you do for a 9 to 5. It can even be as something small as being on a retainer for a client if you're an agency or you have your business. And you have profit income, which is buying and selling. And you have interest income from lending money. A residual income that comes continually when you get paid for your work when it's done. So after you get your work out, it gets you royalties after that. Dividend is from owning stocks. Rental is when you rent your house or your property, or arbitrage if you're into Airbnb. Capital gains is assets increased over value, and royalty income that others use your idea. So all those income forms within the Web3 space is actually all part of doing NFTs and cryptocurrency. So I guess the first question, what is Web3? You want to start like what's Web3 is that?
Yeah, especially for people who are brand new to crypto and the concept of Web3. Basically, it's the whole realm of the internet. I call it like the whole layer of the internet that has to do with digital currency. And the reason why that even bleeds into the art world and has changed so many artists' lives is because it allows us to have traceable, trackable digital assets that can contain our artwork and art pieces, music, video, literally any form of digital media, period. Digital products, like anything. It's basically like tracking packages, but in a digital way. And it's still the internet. Like your internet domain, instead of a .com, you could have a wallet address that also functions as a website.
Yeah.
And you could build software on it. And the list kind of goes on. So it's this layer of the internet that's basically the newest development of what we've got so far.
Yeah, so that's exactly it. So, and by the way, guys, she's keeping me accountable because I had some coffee, so I'll make sure like I don't jump and talk too fast. But it's exactly what she said. It's Web3 is a layer on top of Web2. Web2 is basically .coms. Like you got the Yahoos, the Googles, anything that ends with .com or anything that you use to search the internet for. That's Web2. Web3, the only difference between Web2 and Web3, you have a blockchain. And the blockchain is where you have all these different things that's happening, which we're going to mention 12 of those items that actually the activity that happens in Web3, which is metaverse, where there's NFTs, where there's cryptocurrencies. And what's great about that with Web3, you can customize it however you want it. And how you interact with it is decentralized. So I'm saying big words now, but we're going to go over each term. So blockchain. So blockchain is basically a peer-to-peer. Like if I share something with you, it's on a blockchain, kind of like Dropbox or like Google Drive. You save your information and it's between my wallet protocol to your wallet. So there's no intermediary coming in between our interaction and within the blockchain. And within that blockchain, we have different protocols, like we mentioned the wallet. And when we mention the wallet, we're talking about Coinbase. What's other wallets that's out there?
MetaMask, Phantom, Ledger.
So those are different wallets or exchanges that you can purchase your cryptocurrencies, which is digital money. So it's not like, it's kind of like USD, but it's converted into their money. So the most common is what?
We have Ethereum, Solana, Tezos, Elrond. The list goes.
Bitcoin, the popular ones.
The list goes on
far.
So,
so like how we have in America the USD, and we interact with banks like Bank of America or Wells Fargo. Cryptocurrency runs through the blockchain kind of like that, but it's decentralized. So we don't have no government involvement. It's between my wallet and my address with her wallet or anybody else's. And what's cool about that with Web3, a lot of people don't realize as an artist or as a business, you're able to not only make money or digital sales online, but you can actually create an actual program or software or your artwork or music, and you could connect it to your wallet so people can actually purchase it using cryptocurrencies. So instead of using like US dollars, where there's actually NFTs you could buy with money, you can actually verify that and they could prove, hey, I'm the artist, this is the buyer, and it's going directly to each other.
Can I hone in more on that?
Yeah.
So that the reason why this is different and being explored versus just buying, for example, music on iTunes or buying an ebook, for example, you're not paying in fiat, which is like US dollars, for example, and getting a downloadable, and then you download it on your computer and it's done. Like you are buying, and then the digital asset, which could be the song or the book or image, art piece, whatever, you actually just get a limited edition digital asset of that art piece. So it's different in that way than just buying, in fiat for a downloadable.
Right. Yeah. It's different than going to a store or buying a shirt or buying a vinyl online. You're literally not just buying in it. Let's say there's a scarcity in it. You could, because it's in the blockchain that, where it's online, you could resell it if you want to. And let's say it's a popular artist, you actually partner with that artist to make them money, but then also you're actually selling it over. So that's what's cool about Web3. That's one of the cool things. So remember I mentioned there's like 12 things that we're going to talk about within the blockchain. One of them, I'm going to talk about artificial intelligence. You know about artificial intelligence, right? So basically, they're taking, it's basically, it's like you're taking humans' cognitive skills and you're making them emulate humans. But what's cool about artificial intelligence, it's an automation. So like, let's say you want to have a program that like lets you know, okay, every time I come to the house, turn the fire stove on or whatever. Like you could program that. That's one of the actual features that you can run within the blockchain in Web3. And like for example, generative art. What's Bored Ape Yacht Club? They use things like that within the metaverse to
like plugging into a function and then it comes out the other side, type of thing.
Like 10,000 copies. So you can literally do that automated in the background. Augmented reality is basically, how you put your phone up and there's nothing here in front of you, and you put an image and when you actually look at the image on your phone, it shows up. That's augmented reality. So, if you ever went to Amazon and you want to buy a piece of furniture, you're like, I don't know, I don't want to buy something and return it. You actually, through Amazon, they actually have it on there. You can say, like for example, my studio desk out there, in order for me to know that I need to make sure that it fit the space and actually spec it out on my phone. So that's an augmented reality thing. And that is run on Web3 in the blockchain.
Face filters too.
Filters, yeah.
Social media.
Twitter, not Instagram.
Yeah, TikTok filters.
So creating those, like almost look like I have like no beard or bald or like changing my face. That's augmented. And number 3, centralized exchange. Basically, like Coinbase and all the wallets and stuff like that. So I really want to go emphasize more in the decentralized system of Web3. So we want to talk about that, decentralized, like what it means to be decentralized and everything.
I am by no means an expert.
Same here.
Yeah.
But
so from basically like what you were saying earlier, it's the banks aren't involved. Pretty much it is like the wild, wild west where you can directly interact with other people's wallets free of the traditional banking system.
That's right. So decentralized basically is peer-to-peer. So instead of going to iTunes to buy your album, I'm literally going to your NFT store marketplace and I'm literally buying your music from your wallet. So it's literally peer-to-peer. And that removes a lot of stress in terms of finding who purchased your music, because when you make music and release it, like say Bandcamp or iTunes, you don't know who buys your stuff. One thing was great about Web3, you know someone's wallet address, and a lot of times they actually have a Twitter associated to it or an email, whatever, and you can track them down. You're like, oh, thank you for purchasing it, and that's an amazing thing. It's like having your bank statements. Like literally, if you wanted to, you could go on Coinbase and look for Gary V or Snoop Dogg's wallet, and it's open. You can look how much money you have in his bank account, in his wallet. You can find all the NFTs, and it's no cap. You literally could search all that just by clicking on their wallet address. So it's really decentralized, but at the same time, it's so open. Like there's a transparency there, which is great.
Yeah, I was going to say too, as a consumer, you can actually see whose wallet you're sending money to. Whereas if you're paying iTunes, paying Spotify, et cetera, you don't really know where that money is going or what that person or entity, how much they have really made.
Yep, that's true. And it's like a a social proof in a way, because you could say, hey, I sold 100 of my beats online and I sold them for $200 or something like that. People could see if you're lying or not. You could just click on the wallet. Oh, that's true. And it's great. I really want to talk now the metaverse. Now, you mentioned it, Jamal. The metaverse is part of Web3. It's basically, you play those video games like Roblox or you call that Fortnite. That's an example of metaverse. And you know how people put the avatars on and they interact with the characters and they do all these crazy stuff and they, play with people from France and, Germany, all that stuff. Literally, we have that on the blockchain. Like, you could play those games and now they actually have rewards where you can actually, if I'm not mistaken, you can make your own avatar and you can literally make money just by doing, playing games, and people earn money passively. Remember, one of the income streams, passively and actively, through playing those games on the blockchain, and you can make money off of that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, there's all sorts of stuff being created. Like, I actually saw that Roblox was against NFTs.
That's so funny.
And seeing how all these, like, I don't know, it really is an open creative thing. Like, there is no, this is the way it is. Like, there are play to earn games that are coming out that are attached to NFTs. And then there are some open world type things where, you get Adidas you have an Adidas NFT and it comes with actual clothes or metaverse clothes.
Yeah.
And metaverse fashion in general is like a whole nother realm.
Yeah, metaverse fashion is actually interesting. Just this past week, I collaborated with an artist who did the Digital Fashion Week. I think it's from New York. And it was a fashion show. It looked like kind of like 3D animation of like women going the catwalk and like digital clothes. And this looks amazing. What's cool about that, people are actually buying these worlds, you know what I'm saying? And what you could do with it, kind of like everything I just mentioned, you could get it, you could literally trade it, you could buy it, and you could also resell it. That's how many streams of income there. You got earned income, you have royalty income. So you're a part of that economy of, as I mentioned, you're not just an artist, you're a business. So if it's not your business to sell and buy, but you love Roblox and you're like, I'm passionate about it, and you're just a Roblox, fanatic, if you know how to work the system outside of your business, let's say you are a pizza store owner and you have that, you can make extra income supplying and demand real assets for your business doing metaverse video games or even shows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the live venue thing for music is going to be really interesting to see come in, because that's going to be a new way for people to go live and perform and actually sell tickets for experiences where people can witness your musical craft literally from home.
Yeah, I've actually, there was a couple who've done that I'm aware of. I know Coco Sarai, one of Dr. Dre's writers, did one of those metaverse things. Justin Bieber did one on a car and stuff. So literally people are creating their own avatars and 3D animation self. And instead of like going to an actual concert, they actually have a room of techies and a green screen, and you're in like this tight like mobile suit, and like they video recording your movement, and that movement is being captured on the metaverse so people can actually see. And it's crazy. Like, you can literally do it at home. And it's awesome that it's almost because of the pandemic, I felt like all these software companies are making it really open for us to actually create a layer within Web3, because it now gives us the power to like, make it happen. You know what I'm saying? You have a question there?
Yeah, we got a question. Is from Andre H. Will the original creator need to copyright the item before selling it as an NFT?
Smart contracts. You jumping it, right?
Well, even before the smart contract, I think copyright is still, it's the same thing as selling any other form of your art. Copyright law still applies to NFTs as far as I understand. Yeah.
So I want to kind of let everyone know, just because we're in the age of Web3, we're not like in Web3 yet. We're builders of Web. Like me and you, anybody does NFTs or crypto, we are all builders of Web3. We have not arrived yet. We're literally on the basement level. So why I say that is, again, you're not just an artist, you're a business. So it's your due diligence to make sure, if you got a beat, if you got a hat or a scarf or whatever you design, or like music, make sure you trademark yourself. Go to the copyright.gov. Make sure you do your due diligence to make sure you copyright your ideas in Web2, which is, the government, .coms or whatever, or .govs. So when you release your stuff as NFTs, that way people can see, okay, you are the owner or the creator of that NFT. Someone won't have to like take your stuff or your music, sample it, and get away with it. You still have to copyright your own stuff like everyone else does. And it actually is better because there is still no jurisdiction. There's no like laws that's like saying, oh, if you have NFT, it's copyrighted. No, like literally make sure you do your due diligence and trademark your stuff, copyright, do that, cover yourself.
And one thing for sure is artists who are in the NFT space, there are already a ton of impersonators and scammers on social media. Like I just found my first impersonator recently, and pretty much everyone I know in the NFT community on TikTok has dealt with impersonators and stuff. So I 100% think that nobody should share like unwatermarked stuff.
So talk about that. Like
before they mint it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the dark sides of NFTs. Just like anything else, everyone's going to get scammed somehow. So what are some strategies that you implement to kind of protect yourself on TikTok and then your NFTs? Like people's interested, but they're kind of like, I'm too scared. Like what are things that you should do to kind of protect yourself and your creation?
As an artist?
Yeah, as an artist, as a business. Yeah.
I think as an artist, it's not as much of a problem as it is for consumers, because consumers are the ones who may not know how to tell if something's real or not, because they might think that, oh, I don't know, people are buying cartoon heads, so I'm going to go and buy a cartoon head and show that I got an NFT. I've seen people buy things with that kind of mentality and get scammed. And the whole protective thing that people forget to do is anybody can mint NFTs. So to make sure that somebody is verifiable, and this comes down to even clothing shops on Instagram and stuff. Some people don't check, and it really is they order a dress and it comes in and it's not even the dress I ordered type of thing. Like the NFT space is no different, but it's digital assets. So you literally will get nothing, or it'll get rugged, which means that the project just gets pulled from existence and you've lost your money because you gave it to somebody who wasn't the actual artist, or, so making sure that whoever you're supporting, you verified that their marketplace is attached to their verified Twitter. And if you don't know it's their verified Twitter, for example, my Spotify is verified and my Spotify links to all my social media. So having like some way of for sure validating that you are the real person, even with your username, it's not enough, because people will rip your videos, make a fake account with a slightly different username.
Or underscore it.
Always check that whoever you're engaging with on social media really is the real person. It goes back to like, make sure you know who you're talking to on the internet, or it's the real person.
Like we're in the stage of Web3 right now. It's easy to get imposters to imitate you. Like I've seen people try to take your TikToks and stuff and try to take your underscore. What she was reiterating, I'm literally want to make sure you guys get it. You are a business. Yes, you're an artist, but you're in the business of art. Like I'm in the business of audio and music. You're in the business of, singing and training and mentoring and creating art and production. Like you're in the business of that. So again, copyright your stuff, make sure your stuff is verified. Not like the blue check, but basically there's ways I've done it through NFTs or through Web3, for example, ENS. Ethereum has a way, like when you go to unstoppable domains, you know how people have the .eth at the end of their name? It's basically shows them, hey, instead of typing out my whole
like wallet, chain of symbols that a wallet address.
So a wallet address is like 24 characters of XY, whatever.
Yeah, it's like 0x03xz.
Yeah, it's crazy. So when you own your domain, you you have to buy gas fee. And what is gas? Gas is basically, I call it a service fee. Hey.
Yeah, it's like the electricity fee for your crypto transaction. And every transaction will have a gas fee to a certain degree.
Right.
Some will be way cheaper than others. Some will be more. And it depends on how many people are actively using the network at that time.
Just like the internet, like you buy a certain NFT or you minting something, it's good to do it late at night than in the noontime. So, okay. It really depends. I know I started in Coinbase. Only reasons because I was onboarded to Coinbase, but now I have 3 different wallets. Wallets is basically different exchange. So I use Coinbase and I use MetaMask. Certain wallets work with certain exchanges and NFT marketplaces, right? Because when you have to go into your wallet, you sign in and then it will see how much money you have on your exchange. So Coinbase is the exchange. It's like the bank, like Bank of America, right? Now the wallet is basically, if I take my bank money into my wallet, it's like I'm taking money from my Bank of America, Coinbase, to my Apple Pay. So I could easily swipe, you know what I'm saying? So I use Coinbase and Coinbase Wallet and MetaMask and Phantom. What wallets do you use?
Yeah, I use MetaMask if I'm using OpenSea's marketplace because that was what I got for Ethereum. But Coinbase is what I use to cash out
or receive
any crypto, pretty much. So even if there's going to be different crypto wallets that can be specific to a certain coin. So there you could have like the Mayor wallet for Elrond or a Phantom for Solana and MetaMask for Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
All of those that aren't Coinbase will allow you to purchase that coin. But Coinbase is the one that allows you to convert it to US dollars. So that's kind of like the beginners.
Yeah,
and I'm part of that beginners sort of wave. And that's kind of how we're in that
beginner wave because I've kind of understood because as of last year, now remember one of the ways of creating income, one of the 8 streams of income, if you rewind back in this video, is capital gains. Now, last year I paid some capital gains. It was not a lot because it was before the administration of America put in effect, we're going to look at digital assets. But when you make capital gains, it's a good thing because it makes you see, you're making actually money from selling and buying cryptocurrencies and NFTs because NFTs almost is like an example of holding money in your wallet. So it appreciates. So like you sold out your project and let's say Jay-Z bought your NFT. Everyone's going to want to buy that because Jay-Z got it. And then what happens? The money that someone pays for it versus what it's sold, you get everything in between, basically, from that part. And then it goes on and on and on. So we go on to that. Yeah, we have another question.
Next question is from Kane D. And it is NFT versus distribution. Do we still need a distributor if we have NFTs?
Do you mean for music?
Like DistroKid and all that stuff. And I believe you need to. Let me tell you why. And hopefully someone from Nielsen SoundScan or from ASCAP, BMI, I hope they're listening to this. This is a great way to integrate both your publishing, because publishing is Web2. There's basically, when you release music, let's say you go use a distributor like DistroKid, they basically allows you to upload your music, you put your metadata in there, who produced what, and then you do the royalty splits. Let's say for $1, let's say 50 cents, 50 cents. You could do all that stuff using PayPal, all that stuff, etc. You still got to copyright your stuff. But now when you're putting it into NFTs, now people say, you can't release the same song. Yes, you can, because NFT is a way to use it as a token. Maybe we make a song and there's only 100 of it left. But within 100 of that, you have access to stems, you have access to my shirts, stuff that people who passively listen to my music on Spotify and iTunes, they cannot have access to. If you have an NFT, you get more of the like you actually are in my community. And one thing we forgot to mention, Web3 is about what? Community?
Oh, I was gonna answer the question.
Yeah. So it's part of that whole thing. So you can, but make sure you do your due diligence and make sure you apply your music into all the publishing aspects. BMI or ASCAP and copyright and Sound Exchange and MLC. Make sure you still do all that stuff. And then the smart contract, which we'll get into that, you still got to make sure you are in detail, making sure that you register it because you just want to make sure you could copy, have that traced.
I was going to say, as a musician, the thing about NFTs is you can do literally whatever the heck you want.
Yeah.
It's not like you need to do this, because what role models do we have? Literally everybody who is in this space, we are the pioneers. We are the ones experimenting with it. And I, as a musician, am not doing anything that I see other musicians doing. And that's the thing, like what NFTs did for me as a musician, and I still did use distributors because I'm a new artist. So I want to reach people and be able to get exposure to people through Web 2, but give people the opportunity to fund my project and become investors of my ET Pop project through my NFTs.
Tell people more about a little bit of the journey of just tell everyone about your NFT journey, about how you started and everything.
I still have one more thing I want to say so you don't need to put your music through a distributor if you put something out as an NFT. I want people to understand that you have complete creative control. If you want to sell a one-of-one limited edition song that is for you really want a high ticket collector to be able to access this song and it's not on any platforms, you have the power to do that. Like if this is a happy birthday song for a specific person and they want it as an NFT, you have the power to make it just an NFT and you don't have to distribute it onto Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Yep. But that's the thing is it's completely up to you. It's just you have the ability to sell limited edition things. And that doesn't even have to be music. Like for me, and I guess I can go into the project now. I'm an illustrator. I never really sold my artwork before NFTs. And the thing that NFTs did for me is I saw a whole new market open for drawing profile pictures of people who like my music and like my art style. So I made it where if you buy my song in 25 limited editions, if you buy my single as an NFT, even though it's out on Apple Music, Spotify, etc., it's a ticket for you to get a custom ET portrait drawn by me in pixel art style, in the same style as the cover art of the cover art. Did I say that?
You got it.
I did the pixel art in the same style as the cover art. And it's, if you bought that, then if you show up in my Twitter spaces, everybody can dress up with their profile picture and basically represent. And then that helps market me as an artist. So not only do they help become my investors, they help become my marketers. And by sharing and making their profile picture this thing, people ask questions about it. They're like, where did you get this done? And it kind of creates an engaging culture because people want to see each other's ETs and see what I did for them. And that then is also a VIP badge for my music production online course that I'm kind of building right now.
You know what's interesting about all that? Because I have an ET, and part of that experience, she just mentioned a lot of income streams just for what she just did. Now, we're funding your, you talk about your van life experience and stuff like your music production, your even living. And, she had income, profit income, residual, because if someone sells it, she can make residual from that, royalty income, and earned income. She made almost 3 or 4 streams of income just by doing this alone. So when we mentioned earlier about Web3, you're literally taking what you've been doing before and making one-of-ones or making rarities, or you make multiple of ones, but like low ticket or one-of-ones or high ticket. You could do however you want. At the end of the day, it's about what? Community, right? You're building your community. You're bringing the identity. You're not just a business. You're a brand. You're not just an artist. You're a brand and you're a business. So you want to create the need. You want to fill the gap where in your demographic or in your skill set, who is not doing that. You're answering the need. What was the need in your demographic?
Yeah.
What's the need?
And I also think that translating the business I already there are multiple businesses that I could do in Web 2. I'm just fusing them together. Right. And Web 3 is allowing me to give a souvenir and a badge for what I was already doing, which is music production, mentorship, doing artwork, and making the music. But the music really was just a token. And because this was also an onboarding experience for some people, which I just made it where, like, if you want to buy this, but you don't understand Web3 and crypto, I'll onboard you for free over Zoom if you're willing to buy it. And so that was some people's first NFT. So for me, knowing that this is a lot of my community's first NFT ever, that like feels very meaningful to me to share that experience.
And I have to say, you know, by the way, she sold out her whole ET project. And that's a big deal, especially during the bear market, you know?
They can't be deleted, but they can be burned.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier, I think we should talk a little bit about smart contracts because that is in the block. So a smart contract is kind of like, you know how in music you have to do a split sheet, right? And then split sheet says, for example, Shauna, Finestro, we did production, so 50-50. X amount of dollars goes to each of us. And whenever it goes to this amount, this goes to publishing. Literally, it tells you who's the owner or owners. It tells you how much it is. It tells you the characteristics. Like, it's a 4-minute song, style, pop, EDM, or whatever. It's a metadata of different protocols of different things from the owner, from the wallet addresses, who gets paid, what does it do. So a smart contract is what you do when you mint your NFTs. Now, deleting it, you cannot delete it, but it costs money to burn it. It's basically when you want to remove something, you burn it from the blockchain, but you take it to a burned address. So basically, it's not going to be like the NFT is physically not going to be in the marketplace or in your wallet. But again, remember I told you Web3 is very transparent. No one can't cap. Like you will lie in Web3 and you embarrass yourself. Like people can know when you burned something.
But they'll find out later. You'll get in a lawsuit. Lawsuit or just embarrassed on Twitter space. Like you can't lie. Like people will just click. And you know what's interesting? And if like, let's say you can't find someone, you can reverse engineer. Like, oh, this person is the same wallet that did this NFT. You could go to the NFT marketplace and trace where that person's buying other places and find their burned address that they don't want to show whatever NFT and they put it there. And you can see all the burned address. It's kind of like a locker or like a file of all these different kinds of NFTs that has been deleted, but you could still see the transaction of, hey, this NFT has been burned by this person. So it literally tells on you, you know. Yeah, what that will look like is whenever an NFT is transferred to another address, it shows you a ledger, like a list of what account, user or wallet address has owned this asset. And to burn, it would be sent to an address that's like 0x00, and it like goes on forever. And it's just this like wallet that everybody, I think, just sends it to if they don't want it to be out anymore.
It's a dead wallet, but it's a wallet saying, hey, it's dead, but here's proof that it's been sent here. So this is kind of a way that you can really track all these.
Like no man's land. It just gets sent there.
But yes, technically, yes, you could remove the NFT from the site of the buyers, but technically, no, you can't really delete it because it's burned into the ledger. Like if I know I spent $100, I can't erase that off my bank. Like my wife is going to see that. Like, you spent $100 on this? It's the same concept.
Can't edit it after you've minted it either. So it's like whatever you mint on the blockchain, that's as long as, you know, that's another thing about the NFT space is this essence of kind of permanence to a degree.
You gotta be very careful. And it works. Yeah, that's not saying a downside, but it gives me comfort because I knows that if you want to avoid scammers, you could see, okay, they really talk in business. They want to buy an NFT. It's like, oh, how much of it is? Can you? They try to sometimes. Have you been negotiated? Somebody, try to, hey, can you decrease the price or something? Because you can do that on OpenSea. Like, let's say you want to change the price.
Yeah, people can always send in offers and stuff, but I haven't had people do that.
Do that. Which is great. Not me, but I've seen other people do that. But the whole point of the matter is, it's another way of social proof. So let's say, like one of your ETs, let's say someone from the team is like, oh, I want to sell it, and Gary Vee has it. Everyone could see that Gary Vee has the NFT in his wallet. And what is crazy about it, since he has a big following, but I'm just mentioning just an example, that actually is another way to say social proof. Oh, my artwork has been picked up by X, Y, and Z. And that actually creates the buzz or creates the social proof, because it's been supported by this person, which is another way to see that.
Yeah, and I think that also brings up an important point of the mindset behind the person who collects NFTs.
Right.
Because people collecting NFTs, it's very different from selling an ebook, on Amazon or whatever. Like, when you're selling an NFT, the people who are buying it have a different sort of compass of why they are supporting you and what this means to them. Just because you put your music and art out there as NFTs does not mean that you're going to make money. And it doesn't mean that the people who are around you are going to buy it. It really is about people who have the mindset of seeing what their money is going into. So that brings back the point of community and why this is changing the way we interact with people and how our relationships with collectors is a very new sort of thing, because they have a different relationship with us and our journey. And a big reason why people were buying my NFTs is because I'm showing myself on this very raw dog van life journey, and that I am starting this music project and I'm learning about NFTs, and I'm part of the less than 3% of music producers who are women and in this space, which is also male dominated. So to have that mission and purpose, people are buying my stuff not for the NFTs, but because they want to send money to this and have a badge of like proving that they had supported this. So I think like that vision of, there's so many things you can mint. You can mint photos, you can mint videos, music, and everything. But when it comes to what you really want to put out there as this permanent thing on the blockchain that will exist as a collectible for as long as this exists, unless you send it to a burner address, but that will literally cost you money. So it's you want to really think deeply and wisely about what you're going to be minting, especially because there is concern for environmental impact and energy consumption, all of these things. Like really thinking about, how do I want to show up to the world? What is my mission? Who do I serve? Whether it's your Web 2 mentality or your Web 3 integration and everything, it really just brings you back to who do you want to be? How do you want to be? And what do you want to put out there? And what kind of relationship do you want to have with your, not even fan base, but your community and investors? These are like this is allowing fans or community members to become micro investors or macro investors.
Yeah, this is great. Like in my Web3 NFT experience, it's interesting because this is like post Clubhouse, and this is the time where my second son, Judah, he's now 2, he was born, and out of just curiosity, I was onboarded to that. Onboarding is basically directing a new person from point A to point B and showing them the ropes to that Discord art group. And from there, I got to meet, about a year ago, I met this NFT artist. She does some amazing work. And she was like, yeah, do you have any beats and stuff? Now, mind you, I'm new to this, and what's crazy is that I found out through this community of like the songs that I don't release, because I make a lot of beats, a lot of music. And some of my beats are kind of weird. I'm not saying weird, but they're not structured to be for the common ear. I feel like my music is for people who like dance or code or make animations 3D, because I do a lot of like, Adobe surround sound music, very immersive art, like music, surround sound. So that's kind of like my niche. and I love bass and, hip hop and Caribbean vibes. So I sent her all my beats that you probably heard some of them, but a lot of people did not hear. So I'm thinking like, she's not going to like them. She loved them. So I was like, okay. Now my wife is next to me. This is like the night before. Then the night after, she went on Twitter Space. And then within 2 hours, she sold her whole collection. And after I had my Ethereum address verified, that was $3,000 for that. And then at that time, Ethereum was at 4,000. It was like close to 4,000. I made over $2,500 in 2 hours. I was like, my wife is next to me. I was like, what's happening? Because all these notifications are happening. And she just sent me, it was a 0.7 Ethereum at the time. So I was like, yo, like, I scratched my head. I'm like, why that I made more? I wasn't doing it for the money. I actually did it because I was curious. And the kind of artwork that she did, I made music that matched that. And only she understood it. And what's crazy about that, feeling the need. You're fulfilling a need. So for those who are like curious, like, oh man, who's my artist? Your audience may not be the rapper down the block or the singer at your church or that, that amazing musician who plays for this band. Your demographic could be someone who's coding or someone who does yoga. You know what I'm saying? And you can know that because they will hit you up. They'll like the post on your Instagram. They'll say, hey, do you have more music like this? And it'll make you have ideas. Oh, maybe I should do a collection for X, Y, and Z. And those are the people who shows up and fund your business.
I want to highlight something that you did that was really interesting and that I saw as a potentiality in this space. And that is the ability to collaborate with an artist in a different field.
Yes.
And have a synergistic creation that you could actually do a pure wallet split on. Whereas most of the time you would have a commissioned artist or, you would hire somebody to shoot your music video or, it'd be like one person in the lead, but they have to like fund this project. Yeah. Whereas now you could collaborate with a visual artist like you did. You did music production in the 3D audio style with an animator. Yeah. So what you did is like super innovative in this space and proof of how you could actually collaborate more effectively with other artists and without the stressors and weird blockages that we would have to face, like going on Fiverr or going, having to shop for artists with all these conversations about rights and, who's paying who and XYZ. And that's really cool that you were able to experience. You know what? You touch
up on that because now where I was going to be, that's a great transition. Thank you. See the alley-oop. So the collection she's talking about was Astro Dream. Nigelia McCain from the UK. She's actually from upstate New York, but she lives in the UK and she does amazing artwork. She used the Oculus. She create art. Like I think she's the first person I ever saw do this. She literally create the worlds like with her Oculus, like and when I saw it, I was like, yo, it looked like Final Fantasy, it looked like Kingdom Hearts and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I got some music. And she's Jamaican, so I'm Haitian. So I was like, yo, you want some mix that music? She's like, I love it. Let's do it. So as I was making the music and she was sending me these worlds, it literally looks like, it sounds funny, like it looks like the colors almost look like what I would wear. You know what I'm saying? It looks very Afrocentric, very, futuristic, very like stylized with that video game look, pixel and like 3D. And then I made music that was very spatial. Like literally you could sit in the chair, you hear the drums move here with here. You could hear the sounds. So it's like you could literally sit back and feel like in the world. So we came together and created the Astro Dream and it got featured and we went to NFT NYC. She was featured at the Coinbase Theater. She talked about that. And then we did a lot of talks online, everything about that. So it's right. Like really, you don't have to go to a place where like you go on Fiverr and like, hey, can I have an animator? Literally, we met on Twitter Space and we're like, hey, I love your work. You know what I'm saying? Do you need any music? I like some music and stuff. And then we talked and then the wallet split, she's saying, it's kind of like the smart contract. Literally kind of like, the split sheet of music industry. Like for every $1, 50 cents go to you, 50 cents go to me. We did it like that.
Yeah,
And
when you mint an NFT, especially just from everything I've experienced with the Ethereum blockchain primarily, is when you mint it, you have, especially if you do it directly on the blockchain,
Right.
for example, with Manifold Studio, by default, no matter where you release your NFT, you can set a custom percentage of royalties, which means every time this NFT is resold, I will get 10% of each sale forever and ever. Or I could set it to 15%, 5%. It's up to the creator's
Right.
decision, but you can also set it to have custom percentages amongst multiple creators. And I don't even know if there's a limit on how many people you
There's
could really combine. If you had a
basically
team of 20 people
by 100,
and
like
you
at
all
100%,
collaborated on a music video, or you all modeled in a picture together or something like that, like you all did vocals, or one person did mixing, one person did mastering, instead of the situation where you would release a song and you just paid someone upfront
Mhm.
for your mixing mastering service,
Mhm.
they could actually be in a percentage
Right.
set, and those settings are the smart contract.
Right. So what she was mentioning, Manifold is basically a website that allows you to create your own custom split sheet or your smart contract. Well, it's great because now you don't have to think about, oh, I want to pay for this person and all that. If you basically are co-owners, you're like in a stock. And that's one revenue I mentioned earlier in this video, that you now enter the stream of royalty income. So let's say someone bought our NFT, it was $1,000. And let's say we put a royalty of 25%, 15%. Like that's fair, right? Like a royalty. So let's say someone buys it for $1,000 and resells it for 10,000. I mean,
And it instantly goes to
Instantly.
split to our wallets. We don't have
Instantly.
to have paperwork.
We don't have to wait,
to have
like- yeah.
an accountant to handle it. It's a smart contract. Like it literally will send to Phiness.eth, Ametaphor.eth.
Instantly. So we don't have to wait for the money. Like if you in the, music and TV and film like me, we don't have to wait till June or the quarter of the year to wait for your money. It comes like almost liquid. About 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Still faster than Venmo and Cash App and stuff. So that's amazing.
We are just about out of time.
Okay.
What, for someone just getting into NFTs, what would you recommend?
Do as much of your own research as possible. Like you're going to see a lot of people online that just, they say things as clickbait. Like I've seen a lot of people send me stuff and they're like, what do you think of this? I'm like, I think that person is just trying to get views or, so always do your own research. Find communities in the space that have like-minded values, because those are the people who are going to align with you. There are so many different kinds of people in this space. I would say don't be afraid to connect with people because the space is so new that the best way to learn is pure learning. Like Vanessa and I have learned so much from just having, DMs where we just send each other resources. And I started a Discord just to share resources.
Right.
And really finding allies in the space or like-minded people and not being afraid to engage with their content, comment, join people's Discords. Of course, always make sure you're talking to real people and not scam accounts. But networking with all the people who are new, just like us, who are in the space, that's really the best way to learn, because seeing real people, real examples, and real stories is part of what makes this space so amazing and very refreshing.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we're part of the Blackwater. They allow me to do all the crazy stuff. I feel like I pushed you guys to the limit. Seriously, we're a DM away. Like literally, like DM me questions. We could do this live if we wanted to. And we're here downtown in Lynchburg. You know how to catch, my DMs at Finestro at Ametaphor Music.
Yes, Ametaphor Music.
I remember that. So just, shoot us a DM if you have any questions. We want to help you guys. We can't say we're experts, but we know more than enough to make sure fall in the deep hole. And we're experienced enough to notice those things and patterns. And we have strategies to kind of help propel your career in whatever direction you want. So yeah, just give us a call or email us or DM us. Have any questions, huh? Oh, okay. Are you with me?
All right. Man, I feel so much, I feel short.
It's only time to be told.
Well, Finestro and Ametaphor, thank you so much for closing out our Create Virginia session. That was a lot of information. So as you recap, please feel free to write us, DM us, talk to us. Like we said, we're real people. So we're active online and always ready to help and benefit. So until our next season, have a good night.